have something of interest actually. I just realised I didn't tell you guys, but we haven't got any true buys on any pairs. But this is calculated on a metric where it examines whether or not above or below monthly pivot, and it has to agree with the static, whether or not we're a buy or a sell, and it needs to agree with the dynamic. Is it more of a buy or more of a sell over time? So nothing is above monthly pivot and a buy, nothing is below monthly pivot and a sell. Right, so that's like the quasi-DB metric where we want to try and get technicals and sentiment to align. So that being said, I need to talk about the bubbles, and then I'll talk about some technical stuff. Maybe before that, we do have some German data and then Eurozone data coming out later. The pound UK data's been, and the RBA minutes low. The governor was saying that inflation is going to persist, so that might be bearish, Aussie. So just bear that in mind, that we don't actually have any, quasi-DB in quotes, true buys or true sells. That we're seeing quite a lot of mix in technicals and sentiment. And ideally, what we'd want to do is wait for a price to break above monthly pivot, wait for it to go buy at the sentiment level, at the static, and then get confirmation over time, which is your dynamic. So this is, a snapshot. This is confirmation. We see lots of mismatch as well. So red and green, red's okay, green's okay, but red's not okay. Right, so we're seeing a lot of mismatch and a lot of pairs. So it might explain why we're getting some chop. Let's have a look at some technicals. So the thing to remember with technical analysis is that you've got a big picture, and then you've got like a near-term picture. Right, so this is like the large picture. Admittedly, it's the hourly chart. But we can see that we're in ascent, but however we're making a near-term down channel. However, the big picture is up, right? So that's the thing, is that I think at the moment the market's a little bit confused, and I think it's going to probably want to take out stop loss clusters in the way that it's going. But if it's going to come up, we're going to be risk on. If we're coming down, we're going to be risk off, because the Kiwi is more sensitive than the USD. So remember to zoom out a little bit and look at the big picture, and then look at your near term. So ideally with this, you'd probably want to be looking to buy dips. However, the retail guys are doing the same. They're long. Right, so it's quite a mixed picture today. Just so you know, these vertical lines, that's your start of the week. This is start of your day. Hopefully it's not too confusing. You might not be used to seeing vertical lines on your chart, but that's what they mean. This is your start of the month. So you're looking, that's the monthly open here, M. So if we're above where we started at, in February, it's fairly bullish, and this is where we started on the week. Alright, so just looking for crosshairs basically. This is the patty indicator. This is available on the starter pack. So it's a bit of a mixed picture, and perhaps I can show you dollar yen maybe. Show you some yen pairs. So likewise, we're in ascent, but we're creating a down channel in the near term, and we are buy. So in this case, you'd look to potentially wait for the stop loss cluster to be taken potentially, and then bounce. We're above the quarterly yearly open, we're above the monthly open, but we're below the weekly open. So perhaps look to buy dips on this. They are going slightly long, ever so slightly, but I wouldn't be too worried about that. But it's a good idea to get the FX SSI indicators. This is using the auto channels, auto trend channels from the FX SSI website. It's quite cool. So really, because we're looking at the big picture, we want to be looking to continue this trend higher. However, in the near term, we're in descent. Okay, Aussie. Aussie is okay. Quite a lot of volatile moves here. We are a sell at the high level, and it's quite sideways. One above is your largest stop loss cluster at 72, so it's easy to remember, and one below is 70, 80. Your weekly open is here, and yeah, I mean that might be resistance because we are a sell, but it's quite tricky to say. We're dead bang in between the ADR values as well. Just need to talk about the stop loss clusters for UJ actually. I was going to do this now. It's kind of annoying. Yeah, the one below is 115. The one above is 115.75. Euro yen maybe. £2 yen. And yeah, I won't mind if you want me to look at anything at all. Just tell me, because at the moment you might be stuck on a trade or something, and you know, you're unsure about levels. Just let me know. 131. One below is 129. There's that big move. There's a huge amount of selling that they went under. They underwent. Yeah, they sold it in a big way there. So they might be coming to their break even, which kind of coincides with that stop loss cluster. So they might come down to their break even exit. So that could be a good buy opportunity at 129.92. You've got your ADL support and stop loss cluster, and maybe we'll get that support and we might break this to a down channel, and then we'll come up to the weekly, quarterly, yearly open. This is a strong level for resistance. AJ and yeah, one above 82.80 and 81.49 for a buy. Sideways, dead bang between those values, like I say. What should we look at? I guess maybe that's it, I suppose. You just let me know if you want me to look at anything particularly. Euro, maybe. Euro USD. Now on the COT data, this is a buy, if you remember on the video I made on the weekend. So maybe if we get above the quarter yearly open at 113.76, that could be a good opportunity to go long, but currently we've got that resistance. One above is 113.70, one below is 112.75, and we are a sell at the high level. They're selling it ever so slightly. So we've got to keep an eye on the Ukraine thing. It's probably a lot of hot air and much ado about nothing, where it's a ruse just to get people stopped out of positions, and we do need the people to get stopped out on the indices as well, because they're going long, and that's never a very bullish sign when the retail guys buy risk. So eye on that, and we've got the eye on the FOMC minutes tomorrow, and I think the emergency meeting that we had, I think it was because it was behind closed doors, I don't think they're obliged to tell us the information that went. So maybe more information will come out of the minutes, or perhaps it was just too volatile a day to release the information yesterday, because we had the possibility of a Ukraine invasion and a very risky Fed comment, plus that would probably destabilise everything. So that's a potential scenario where they withheld information, or they're just not privileged to tell us the information till the minutes. So maybe eyes on that information tomorrow maybe. And remember, we are quite mixed on the technicals and sentiment as well. Your bubbles, we're seeing Aussie weakest and the Swiss is the strongest, and the dollar is strong buy, but it's close to like going into mixed. We want the dollar to come over here. We want them to short the dollar if we want to buy. So that's that. So a bit of a tricky one today, and just to be careful and trade small and know your exits. And I'm going to activate the signals now, and do that. So have a good day, you guys, and I'll speak to you soon.